This is the 2021 LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar, set number 75307 with 335 pieces and ages 6+. As you can see, it has 24 gifts, and this is actually the first Star Wars Advent Calendar that has a little green bow instead of a red bow. And this is actually also the first one that is themed specifically to one section of Star Wars, and that is the Mandalorian, as you can tell with the front with the little decorated Razor Crest and whatnot. So yeah, let's take a look. Super easy way to open this up. You just cut the flap on the back, and it becomes your little mat to build all your things on. So here is all of the little gifts built, and there's some really good ones and then some really not so great ones. So we'll go through those super quick. All right, so we do have some weapon racks, unfortunately, in this year's calendar. And it's kind of, I mean, it goes with some of the themes of the minifigures we see later on, but they're pretty dang boring. So we have a Tuscan Raider one here with a gaffy stick. I mean, with this being all based on the Mandalorian, I couldn't tell you where exactly these are from other than the Tuscan Raider one being from, you know, Tatooine. So not super great. These are never super good Advent calendar days, in my opinion. So you just have those, and they're pretty plain. All right, and then we have a couple of stud shooters in the form of weapons and some targets. The targets themselves are pretty weak, just little red targets, but they actually are relatively fun in terms of play features. So I'll show you that. We do get a normal like Hoth E11 blaster, which is pretty neat. The build's okay. It's not the most solid thing ever, but as you can tell, instead of normal like little translucent studs for the lasers, they have snowballs, which is, I do think that's kind of cute. This one is based on the build in Trouble on Tatooine with that big bowcaster. So that one's kind of interesting. Definitely, again, all exclusive to the Mandalorian. And then they do work. I mean, I must say it's pretty cool in that regard, that these guys do work. You can just aim it and it does knock over the targets in that regard. And you do get a couple extra like snowballs, if you will. But you know, those are the only like really holiday themed items in this set, other than a couple of the minifigures. This is the least themed holiday Star Wars Advent calendar that I have come across so far, in my opinion. Next, we have some items that interact with the minifigures on basically on the same scale. So we have a little holiday pram for Grogu, which I think is really good, and I think everybody's really happy with this. They can just easily make it all gray, and then you'll have a realistic one, which is pretty neat. And then he just sits on the single stud inside, just like that, and you can see his little head. I think it looks really good, to be honest. This is a really, really solid build and a great Advent calendar day gift, in my opinion. We do have a probe droid, which doesn't look bad, just a simple build with a little needle on the side, not a whole lot to say, but looks good. And then we have a speeder here that the Biker Scout's supposed to go on. It's very simplistic and very basic. He just sits here, but it does work and it interacts directly with the minifigure. So it's not a horrible build. It's just very small. And obviously it is not a micro build. Okay, and then we have all of the micro vehicles, which a lot of them are actually pretty good. The one I hate the most is the X-Wing. I think it is awful in design. I never have liked these X-Wings when they've done them in this micro scale. It's just the wings are hard to balance and they kind of are loose, and it just is not a good look. I really don't like the bottom and how uneven it is. It just drives me nuts. I do like that there is supposed to be a little R2-D2 in there, but yeah, don't like the X-Wing. And this is a cool like little, I think this is the transport from the last episode of season 1 with the little astromech droid that carries them through the lava river. So if that's the case, I like the build, kind of good design on that. Very interesting. Not, I mean, the most pleasing to the eye, but pretty cool nonetheless. And I'm not sure I like this starfighter, but I don't remember it in the show whatsoever, honestly. But I think it looks really cool nonetheless. That's a really unique build. Definitely one we don't have in full scale or normal play scale. And then we have this speeder from, I think, Navarro or something. This might have been from the first episode of season 1, though. I can't quite remember. There's supposed to be an astromech, though, that drives this speeder, so I'm not 100% sure. But I love the colors, and I like that it looks just like Luke Skywalker's speeder. I think that's really neat. And then we get the Razor Crest, and I think we got a Razor Crest in last year's advent calendar, but I think this one is more accurate, the way that the engines are set and placed, and it's not a bad micro build whatsoever. Pretty good. We have a TIE Fighter, which again is not bad. I don't have a lot of complaints. It's just very small in the center. The cockpit seems quite small. And they might have been able to do something to kind of cover up those exposed studs on the edges. Or maybe you're supposed to put a stud there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe the build had me do that. But it's not a bad build either. And then we have this cool little freighter here, which is a micro build of a full-size scale set that we get from the 2021 fall wave. I really like this build. It's a little bit narrow, but I think it gets the point across as to what it's supposed to be. And then we have Moff Gideon's Star Cruiser here, which I think also is pretty decently accurate. I like the engines on the back, and it's got a very small bridge. And then this would be the like little TIE Fighter launcher in the center, obviously. So I think it does good resemblance. And lastly, we have the Slave one, which is pretty cool. I've seen them do better Slave ones in prior years, so this was not the best one ever, but it's also not super bad. And then we have the minifigures, which I think is actually a pretty good selection. With it being focused mainly on the Mandalorian, I think we get some pretty fair characters. We have a couple of main characters, and then we're gonna have side characters, as is always the case with advent calendars. So you do get little Grogu, and he is a holiday character, which is super cute with the tiny scarf and sweater built in. He's an exclusive bodied Grogu, which is nice because we only have one right now, and he comes out in like 4 sets. So super cute though, nonetheless. He's just the same in terms of face, and I really, really like this like little baby version. He comes with a little, I don't want to say a holster, but a baby cradle that like a sling, a baby sling. I put it on IG-11 because I think he's the most fitting character, but you could put it on the Mandalorian if you prefer. But IG-11 with his little printed top noggin piece, and you can put one of the guns also on his back. None of these guys have weapons upon opening because they're on the weapon racks already. But if you put little Grogu in there, he actually stands like totally perfect with IG-11, and I think it's super cute. We also have a Tuscan Raider. He is not new. We've seen him out in 4 sets already, but it is nice to get another Tuscan Raider, as there are plenty of them in The Mandalorian and throughout the original trilogy. So he's nice. Again, always a really nice character to get. So fantastic minifigure nonetheless. And then we get a Biker Scout. This is probably the Biker Scout that punched Baby Yoda in the bag. And he looks awesome. He's got a super, super nice helmet. Really new. Looks really good. Most accurate Biker Scout we've gotten yet. And he's got a dual molded helmet, which is really cool. I really like this guy, and I wish I had more. And then we have a Stormtrooper here, and he is pretty freaking plain. Again, with the dual molded helmet, that's really inaccurate. That gives you this little right angle on the bottom. I don't like it whatsoever. But yep, another one of those guys. And then we have the Mandalorian, and this is the one in Beskar armor, and he has a little printed scarf, which I think is fine. It doesn't really have to be any more. I like the way it's kind of a subtlety, because Baby Yoda is the one with the big, you know, holiday costume. My only complaint, though, mainly with this set is I think the minifigures are pretty good. I don't like the weapon racks. I do like the little snowball shooters. I think those are fun. But that's the only Christmas thing other than the pram that comes in this set. You have the 2 decorated minifigures, the little Christmas pram, these snowball shooters, versus in the last, you know, couple advent calendars, we've gotten, you know, little snowmen gonk droids, you know, holiday hatchet figures. I don't know. I just feel like there could have been more in terms of holiday appeal for this calendar. And so that's my main complaint with it. But I really like that they have tried and gone with a theme for the very first time in Lego Advent Calendar history. And I think they did a great job. I would love to see like an Attack of the Clones theme one Christmas, and they just focus all of their efforts on those mini ships and mini figures and stuff like that. I think that would be really super cool. So anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed my video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, guys, I will see you later.